People who got married after swearing they never would. What changed your mind? I grew up in a family where both parents despised each other and used the kids as pawns in a game of manipulation. They would not divorce because they decided to stay together for the kids while keeping up appearances in their religious community. That's what I figured marriage was, because it was all I ever knew. After dating my current wife for a while I discovered that, holy shit, relationships are not just cold wars between bitter and resentful people. So maybe I should give this marriage thing a try. Been married 14 years now. Zero regrets. Holy duck, this is me. Except they're still playing mind games. That's why I do not use my brain. I found a good dude that tolerates my nuttiness. I was with the wrong person when I said marriage did not matter. My husband is such a different person than my ex. Even though at the time I thought my ex was forever and marriage was unimportant. But now, do we always agree? Have the same opinions? Need each other? Enjoy each other's company? No. But I honestly do not want my life without him. It is like, when you meet the right person there is just this understanding of self. It cannot be fully explained, but it feels better to be you with the support of another. You can let yourself relax, because there is someone who is there to literally be you, when you cannot be yourself. There are times when I'm my husband for him, and he is me when I cannot be me. It is ducking fantastic. And it is not like we had to get married to be like this, but there is something affirming about the physical emotional act of being married that makes it feel different. Obviously not for everyone, but as someone who was firmly in the marriage is not for me caught before this, I'm glad we got married for us and our families, but mostly for me. This gave me hope. There is something really comforting about someone knowing you just as well, or even better than you know yourself. We both have our off days and just having someone there to pick up the pieces of you and know how they fit together is ridiculously validating. I realized my 8-year-old self's dream of being single forever and having 16 cats was actually depressing. This is me and my S. Oh. We both wanted to be single. Then we discovered we had other things in common. Like cats. Now we dream of having 16 cats and being depressed together. Stupid but love. Divorced now. You know that feeling when a relationship is nearing its end. It must be that times 100 when you remarried. I realized that I had been exposed to the worst kinds of marriages growing up, which gave me those negative feelings associated with marriage. My significant other was also exposed disproportionately to these awful examples of marriages. We decided to work at being the opposite of those couples who gave marriage a bad name. We work at having more love, laughter, support, fun, flirting, sex, compassion, understanding, compromise, commitment, passion, friendship, deep discussions, partnership, affection, security, respect, forgiveness, acceptance, less arguing, misunderstanding, shutting down, withdrawing, provoking, hurting, confusion, struggling, rules, lying, reasons to forgive, disapproval, no fighting, violence, abuse, adultery, abusing trust, giving up on the relationship, hurting the other with intent to, acting as enemies, threatening divorce, abandonment, outlandish one-sided rules, lies larger than white lies, disrespect, struggling alone. Just from building and maintaining a healthy, fulfilling marriage for 14 years has changed my opinion on marriage, because I now have new data to add to what I previously knew marriages to be. That being said, anything could happen in the future, but I'm hopeful we will be one of those couples that other couples look up to and think they want to be, just as in love as we are 50 years down the road. I love this answer. The man. I was not looking and I found the best one. Same. And he stuck around for 10 years while I worked through the marriage just is not for me BS. Tying the knot in love. Never cared about getting married, and my girlfriend at the time didn't either. 7 years into our relationship. Started my career as a mortician and the position came with benefits. Partner needed health insurance. And it was a leap year. So we got married at the courthouse on February 29th. I am glad we did. Because I go full John Mulaney, that's my wife. And my wife is a dynamite Jewish bitch and I love her so much. Been together 12 years now. Married for 5. But yeah, literally got married for health insurance. Bahaha. I love the anniversary date. Lucky bastard only has to plan anniversary getaways every 4 years. My wife to be lived in another country. In order to stay, we needed to get married. Currently celebrating our 30th wedding anniversary. LOL in this situation now. We are getting married next month. Good luck. I hope it works out for you. Splitting the cost of stamps. Hi phobe. Hi. Insurance mostly. I truly thought I would never find someone I connected well enough with, and I would not settle for someone that was just okay, or kinda right. Then I found someone I connected with incredibly and I thought, holy crap, this person aligns so well with my values and goals that I would be crazy not to keep them around. But that line of thought was flawed in its own way too. The sex was that good. We are perfect for each other. Completely made me fall for her. Married over 20 years now. Seriously. Was that S right? Was at the time and still is today. Obviously not with the same frequency, but that happens late in life. Love is a strong emotion. I'd argue it's not its own emotion. Scientifically, isn't it described as the most intense joy in the world. So by my scientific standpoint, love is a very intense joy attached to a person or multiple people. That can change easily. Love is much more than joy. Or people would only stay together when they were joyful. Love can be so many more things. There is even songs about people who love the people they hate, to put it to extremes. I would say, scientifically, love has its own category as it is very consuming in its emotions. Also, if you wanna get technical, love is just chemicals in our brain pushing us towards procreation. There is much more nuance to love than just joy. You rewrite. After reviewing other people's comments I see I was wrong. I wanted to be able to have a say in his mental health treatment as an advocate for him and to always be able to visit him because at that time he was in and out of inpatient facilities. Also, I knew I wasn't going anywhere and was in it for the long haul. But I think he needed the marriage to feel more secure in that. We happily married and he is in a much better place mentally. The best pieces of the world were perfectly compacted in one person with warm brown eyes and who laughed easily. An ultimatum. After 8 years, my boyfriend said it was either marriage or we split up. I was happy to continue flowing as partners and did not need nor want anything official. But to him, an official marriage was very important. He wanted the wedding, celebration, ring and official status. In the end, I decided it was more important to him than it was to me, and I could give him this bit of happiness. Did your life change much after marriage? Or was it a feeling of security for him? It did not change at all. We had been living together for 5 years, so everything was the same the day after. The change was psychological on his end. It helped him feel more secure in our relationship. So just for that, it was worth going forward with it. Did not see the point until I fell for a single mum. I thought proper commitment was in order. 20 years next month. Nice. I do not really know. When I was 15 I swore I would never get married. But then I met her when I was in college. Beautiful, smart, and loving. We started dating, fell in love, and now we have been married for 5 years. I found a good dude that tolerates my nuttiness. I did not swear that I never would, but I did highly suspect that it would not make sense for me to do it. I have a bad relationship with my family. Emotional and verbal abuse emanates from my father and has my whole life. At around 13 I told myself that I would never be able to have a normal family or kids or anything like that, because all I would have to draw on is their terrible example, and I did not want to be responsible for hurting someone else in the way that my parents hurt me and my siblings. I dated a lot of people after college and through to the last few years, and a lot of the people I was attracted to and who were interested in me were in that sweet spot of mildly emotionally unstable that is fun. But I figured that I just do not have the ability to hold a stable relationship long term, and so with all the stuff from childhood that I'm trying to not recreate, it just made sense that marriage was off the table. After a particularly rough and absurd relationship where I dated someone who had a boyfriend, I decided that I was done with people that I felt a real attraction to, and that I would just date people who seemed nice, kind. My now wife. She took a few shifts at the store I was working at, and she was very sincere and genuine, and we started dating. I realized at a certain point in our dating that a lot of my relationships before could not have ever worked long term, because a lot of childhood baggage made it very hard to be as trusting as you really need to be to work honestly with someone else. I loved previous girlfriends, but I do not think I ever would have told them some of the things that really are the little stones in my heart that ache all the time, and that kind of vulnerability is required. My wife. She is so kind and so sincere that it was much easier to just know that she was not going to ever judge me for all the things that really are mostly resultant of growing up in a place where no one loves you. Our relationship was so stable and so effortless that it made it easier to believe that it was a good bet that marriage would work out for us. We have been married for 2.5 years, and she is my best friend. And she is the doorway through which life is enjoyable to me. Being with her is something I'm greedy for. She is so smart and so funny, and she loves me, and it makes it easier to fight all the bad impulses and desires that feel normal to my life, and so I think it will work. We are constantly talking about if the other person needs it to be tailored in their direction more or not, or if we are getting everything that we need from the other. So she changed my mind. I did not know it could be this good. Could not have believed it before I knew it. That's a lot like me. Me and my husband ended up divorcing, but also ended up back together 5 years later, having figured our shit out. It will be 7 years this June that we have been back together, and a total of 12 years together. I told my husband, after about a week of dating, I am never going to marry you. He replied, that's fine. I don't know if I like you enough yet, which I spitefully took as a challenge, and here we are. True love right there. Steve changed my mind. I got divorced and was a single mom. Then, a friend told me about their friend, Steve. We spent a night by the fire talking and getting to know each other. I knew that night that he was the one I wanted to spend my life with. I would not admit to him for a long time that I wanted to marry him, but I finally did. Meeting this wonderful, selfless man changed my opinions and my life. Seeing him become a father to my little girl has strengthened that. People who have had a rough time or a shitty relationship or a bunch of shitty relationships, when you least expect it, bam, you find yourself a whole entire person that keeps coming to see you cause you make him air-fried corn dogs. I realized that I never felt the need to apologize for him or explain him to other people. I had accepted him completely as he is. She called my bluff. She said pick any date. I said April 1st, and she held me to it. I wanted to be married, I just really hated the idea of having a wedding. Bugs me, I will have to have a funeral one day in much the same way. I do not know. So and I had been together for a long time, and had a lot of property together. We were textbook dinks. Double income. No kids. We did bypass that era. We did fine for about a decade when not married. But married. We lasted about a year. 10 will not do again. Was married 15 years, met in Bible college. Was in ministry together. Had 6 kids. He fell deep into addiction, and we got divorced, and I swore I wouldn't get married again. When he left, I had nothing. I worked in the church alongside him, but didn't he get paid, so I was left with 0 income. 6 kids. A church that turned their back on me. In all fairness, they found out their pastor was a drug addict. A house I couldn't afford. And a car that got repossessed. Took me a year to get me and the kids stable. Another half a year to get to the point where everyone was okay. I just didn't want to ever be in a position where that could happen again. Then I met my now husband. Hard to explain, he helped me see that it wasn't marriage I didn't want. It was that I didn't want to get divorced again. I didn't want to ever be left with nothing. He is the most incredible human I've ever met. He has helped me and the kids heal. He is a doctor and provides everything for us, but also put my name on everything so that I feel secure. He bought me a car, gave me a credit card that he pays for. He also hired me to be the marketing director for another company he owns. He knows I want to primarily be a stay-at-home wife and mom, but also wanted to have work BC of my fears of being left with nothing. So he created and gave me a scenario where I can be a homemaker but also have a job I can do from home. I don't think this is coming out right. What I am saying is, I met a man who makes me feel safe and valued, and his love changed and overcame my fear. So many good stories. I still can't get myself to believe in love and marriage and love marriage. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more videos.